This is how I wrote an 800-page book. On November 1st, 2023, I took on a challenge called NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. The goal? Write 50,000 words in 30 days. I had no idea it would become the hardest, longest, and most life-changing project I'd ever commit to. Before that day, I'd written 2 books, one during the winter of 2022, another in the spring of 2023. Over 200,000 words combined, but honestly, they were some of the worst words I'd ever written. After the second book, I even almost quit writing forever. Maybe it's just not for me anymore. Months went by until my teacher asked if I was going to participate in some November writing challenge. And on November 1st, I was writing like I never left. The first week of NaNoWriMo went pretty smooth, and I got to around 30,000 words. But then on November 11th, my writing took a hiatus because of family complications, and I hardly wrote my book for 2 whole weeks. Eventually, I was able to get into the flow of writing again, and on November 30th, I was able to hit the 50,000 word mark, even though I originally wanted to hit 150,000 words in a month. That wouldn't happen until next NaNoWriMo, when I started writing my 4th book, however. December went pretty smooth too. A challenge I set for myself for being on self-improvement for 1 whole year was to write 10,000 words in a day, which I had only done once or twice in my life at that point, as well as 3,650 push-ups. I tried twice, once on December 9th and the other on the 16th. Both times I failed. But 1 week later, on December 23rd, I did the impossible. 3,650 push-ups and 10,000 words in a day, as well as reaching 100,000 total words. The book was going good, and so was the end of 2023. Motivation was high, but it quickly came to an end when the year changed. 2024 was hard almost immediately because of a sickness I got, making my nose stuffy and headache a lot. And not just sickness was making writing hard. Juggling a massive book, which at the time I still had no idea how long it would be, as well as 2 AP classes in school, was a lot more difficult than I originally thought it would be. Homework was stacking up, and because of poor studying habits, I always procrastinated assignments to the last minute. Most weekends, I'd spend pulling teeth doing AP World History assignments, wanting to write, but I couldn't. And after AP World History homework, I still had AP Biology as well. Through the rest of the winter, I was able to make some progress, and sure, the progress was slow, but sometimes I think we tend to forget that we don't always need to be going full speed ahead. Slow progress is better than no progress. On March 13th, I hit 200,000 words in my book, not knowing that I wasn't even halfway done. At this point, I thought I would never finish my book. I'd been dealing with this creative project for 4.5 months, when I thought it would take 1 to 2 months. This was by far the most work I had ever put into something. Despite still having AP classes, I started writing more during spring of 2024 and got to 300,000 words by early May. Let's just say, I didn't always try as hard as I could have with my assignments. When sophomore year ended for me, I reached a dilemma. My goal was to have the book completed by then, but I knew I was far from the finish line. It wasn't even in sight yet. June wasn't a good month either, for my mental health especially. I got my first job where I've worked from 4 p.m. to midnight or even later, usually not going to bed until 2 or 3 a.m. And in the mornings, I had driving classes where we sat in silence for 3 hours. It was living hell. Writing was an afterthought during June, especially when I was practically laying in my deathbed at the end of June, wishing I had never started the book in the first place.
Honestly, I don't want to be here anymore.
When July rolled around, I realized just how fast the summer was actually going. Something needed to change if I wanted to finish my book before the summer ended. I had to lock in. Today is the start of a new era. For the next 50 days, I'm going to be doing a challenge. I want to complete my third book, so finish writing my third book, and 50,000 push-ups. You heard me correctly. 50,000. This would be the final challenge to finish my third book once and for all. 50,000 push-ups in 50 days, as well as finishing my third book. That's all I had to do. And do I did. Within just days, I was changing rapidly. I knew that if I really wanted to finish my book, I could, but not without a little pain. Sometimes we run away from pain, especially the pain that builds us. And that pain is exactly what we should sit in. Pain may break us, but it also builds us into who we want to become. I broke many personal records: 6,000 push-ups in a day, 10,000 push-ups in an hour, 13,000 words in a day. I was on fire. During July and August, I stayed up all night, every night almost, doing push-ups and writing. And in late July, I got to 400,000 total words as well as 700 pages. Not to mention, I was at 20,000 push-ups. This was the final stretch. I could feel it in my bones. On August 10th, I did 10,000 push-ups in a day. Other than the form, I was locked in. I really put my all into this day, going from 31,500 to 41,500 total push-ups. Little did I know, I only had a couple of days left until I would finally be done and released from this nearly year-long journey. And on August 15th, 2024, at 1:46 a.m., my life changed. I had finally done it. 438,757 words, 288 days of pain, 767 pages, and well over 1,000 hours. I had done it. And only 2 days later, on August 17th, I finished 50,000 push-ups as well. When I say this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, I mean it, not as an understatement. Sometimes pushing yourself isn't just going all in for a week or a month or even just a couple of months. Pushing yourself doesn't mean it will always be pretty or aesthetic, motivational, running TikToks at 6 a.m. in the morning watching the sun rise. Pushing yourself to the limit means facing the pain you've been avoiding and sitting in it and embracing it, and then pursue it so that one day you can conquer it. Sure, writing hasn't always been the most fun or the most exciting thing in my life, but it is a thing that has guided me with purpose for the past 2.5 years now. And it really means something to me deep down. Sometimes it is scary. The pain, the pressure that you put on yourself, the progress that seems impossible to make, it's very scary. Only way to conquer your fears is to face them dead on. So if you can get anything out of this video, go face your own fears. Go find that dream to conquer. Don't forget to have a little bit of fun along the way. That's it for this one. Have a great day. And don't forget to follow your dreams. Bye.